The filter that you want to apply is under Tools, Color Tools, Threshold. The threshold filter allows you to split the image into two separate colors, black and white. The ones I found best usually is to automatically adjust, to click the auto button, which automatically adjusts for optimal binarization threshold. And in this particular example, you can see that parts of the other letters are running into our sample, and it's best if we get rid of them before we apply the threshold. So in this case, I'll just fall back to using the brush to remove the offending pieces. And I just go back to Tools, Color Tools, and Threshold. Click the Auto button. As you can see, it's doing much better now that the other pieces are missing. And I'll just apply the filter. And now we actually want to save our resulting image so that we can import it into Inkspace. Let's export the image. Once we have the image exported, we can open Inkspace, which we will be using to actually create vector graphic out of the exported image. So Inkspace will ask you if you want to link or embed the image. I just embed it. Click OK. Now what we want to do is trace this image so that Inkspace can generate our vector graphic. And the way we do this is up here at the toolbar, click on the Path button, and once you select your actual image, you click on the Path button and then Trace Bitmap, which brings up this little window to the side. You can click on the update to see the preview, but it rarely works for me, to be honest. I think that's just a bug in Inkspace, or I might be doing something wrong. And then once you've opened this window, you can just click OK, and that will generate the vector image for you. And the way you can see that is actually dragging on the original object and moving it to the side, and you will see the resulting vector image right behind it. Now what we want to do is delete the original object, since we don't need it as part of the vector object that will be exported from Inkspace. And if you just leave this here, it might work, but what I found is that when I tried to import the resulting vector graphics object into FontForge, if I leave this original object in, it tends to crash FontForge on every import, which reduces my productivity naturally. So I've just selected the original object, and I'll just hit the delete button, which will get rid of the old object. Now what I want to do is save a copy of the new vector image. And I would advise you to name your vector graphics appropriately after the letter that you're trying to generate for FontForge, so that it will be easier for you to find the correct files when you're doing the actual import into FontForge. So I'll just name this one t.svg. And if you're on a Unix-based system like a Mac or a Linux, you might want to add a little bit more to the description of the file, like t_cap for capital or t_un for underscore, since if you have the same file name with a lowercase t and a file name with an uppercase t that otherwise have the exact same file name, it will give you a case conflict. I don't think you can run into the same issues on Windows, but I'm not sure. So I'll just save the vector graphic. And then once I've done this, what you want to do is open FontForge and create a new font, basically, which brings up this nice little table here that allows you to specify different symbols for all of the characters that will be present in our font. You can put in all the letters, all the numbers, uppercase letters, lowercase letters, and different special symbols, which I'm not planning on actually doing for this demo. For this demo, I will just do uppercase T, just to show you how it works. So first things before we go here that we want to do is actually go into Element button here on the toolbar and click on Font Info, which allows us to specify the font name and the family name and things like weight and name for humans. So what I will do, I'll just name both the font name and the name for the humans font demo, and leave the rest in the default settings. So the way you import your vector graphic into the correct slot now is you go to the specific character that you want to specify, in my case T, and just double click on this little X here, which will bring up this window here. And once you have the window, you can click on File, Import, and navigate to your vector graphic. You will have to specify that you want a plain SVG, an SVG under the format drop down, so that your file is actually visible in the file menu, and then click on Import. And here's the vector graphic of the character that you're importing. Now, for me, obviously, this is a little bit tiny. Generally, this is the box that you need to fill in for your character. And what I will do is transform this, make it a little bigger. The way you do it is I hit Control A to select the graphic and try to move it center.